Welcome into Paul Catalina's Top 5, presented by Flag and Anthem. The link's in the bio. Plus, go to 365sportsdeals.com for Flag and Anthem and all of our clients there. Clickety-click on them, and you'll get the best deal possible from all of them. These are the top 5 best jobs to have in college sports. Number 5. Billable hours are undefeated, whether you're an attorney for the plaintiffs and the athletes, or you're an attorney for the NCAA, and you can just keep billing them, even though that you know that you're going to lose. And make no mistake, they've hired really good attorneys, because you have to hire really good attorneys when you've got a potentially losing case. In fact, one that's likely to lose. They have to be able to pull out all the stops to at least get you the best deal possible. So, if you would like to be an attorney and be around college sports and you don't know what job that can take you, well, guess what? Here's your discipline. College sports lawyer. Big time money, great job, because especially if you win. If you're Jeffrey Kessler, this is a great job, although he's pretty stressed out right now trying to get this house settlement over the goal line. Number 4, point guard. The going rate at the top of the market right now is probably about $3 to $4 million a year for a point guard, which is insane. Absolutely insane. And that's if you're an elite point guard. And obviously, between elite and good, you're going to make some pretty good money varying on the scale there. We heard reports that Rob Wright was getting $3.5 million to go to BYU. Now, we don't know these things for sure, but the market is expensive for a point guard. I think you've got to start the bidding at 2 and hope for the best in the transfer market. Number 3, quarterback. And you'll be wondering, what 2 jobs are better than this? Here's the deal about quarterback. And this is why I didn't put left tackle or defensive end, because those guys in one shots, if they're elite, they can get a lot of money. But they're kind of one-offs, individually. But as a group, quarterbacks can demand a lot, and you don't really have to be elite. Now, Cam Ward was elite. Absolutely, totally elite. DJ Uiagalelei, who Florida State settled on instead of Cam Ward, not elite, but still got about 7 figures from Florida State. That's a good deal, that just because you're in a position that's so rare and so tough to hit on, you can demand low 7 figures to start before performance on the field even really comes into it. So, yes, you can get a Cam Ward. Look, Jaden Daniels, I don't think went to LSU primarily for the NIL, but he made a good chunk of money there. But to start with him, that was probably about $750,000 a couple years ago. And then to retain him probably cost a little bit more as he played better and better, eventually winning the Heisman Trophy. Number 2.
Lily was falling 10 times a day, covered in bruises. She would run just straight into a pole, right? It was a disaster. She would fall down the stairs all the time. She just could not navigate her environment. 8 weeks after starting functional mushrooms, she was assessed developmental age for physical therapy and no longer required that service.
Thanks for joining us today. That's a wrap.
Peace, love, and mushrooms.
Peace, love, and mushrooms. Rashad, you got me.
GetUmbo.com.
All right.
AJ Dybantsa, you want this job. The singular unicorn big man basketball player. $7 million a year. And look, I can go back on quarterback to Nico Iamaleava. He's the AJ Dybantsa of football, or AJ Dybantsa could be the Nico of basketball, although BYU knows they're only getting him for a year, which is why it's probably worth it to pay $7 million. Now, if you had to pay $7 million a year, that would be insane. But since you only have to pay 1 year, you only have to come up with that money for this unicorn for 1 year. That's why it's worth it to the BYU faithful. Now, AJ Dybantsa gets to step in and see if he can live up to that in year 1, and they've built a very interesting team around him to try and do that in Provo. Number 1, head coach. In spite of all the stresses and all the rule changes and everything that doesn't go your way, you're still, especially at state schools, the highest paid employee. And at state schools, you're not only the highest paid employee at the school, you're one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid, in the entire state. That's a great job. $13 million a year for this guy right here. He's at the top of the list. And then it goes down slightly down through the top 20. So being a head coach in football or basketball, a great gig, no matter the stresses that come with it. Now, Kirby Smart and the like, they can complain about the things, and there are legitimate things, but I do think that for a lot of people, it falls on deaf ears when you get to go back to your $13 million a year check all the time. That's going to do it for this top 5. Andrew Villade's polls, they're coming your way. As soon as Smokey decides you are worthy of receiving said information.